Let's all get started standing up. Go ahead and start rolling the shoulders out. One way and then the other. And starting all these classes a little more active than I normally would, not in quarantine. But as the weeks go on, spending more and more time sitting, lying down, so it's good. Get up, remind yourself that you can move. Even when you're stuck in one place by yourself, so much you can do with your body. Let things go, feeling a little looser. And bringing yourself back to stillness. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Open your mouth, exhale, hands to heart center. Breathe in, reach up, gaze lifts up to your fingers. And exhale it out. Inhale up. And exhale out through heart center. Stepping up to the top of your mat. Send your arms high up to the sky. Just start to sink right into chair, nice and early. Getting low, getting lower, getting lower, getting lower, eventually falling onto your butt into a boat pose. Seeing if you can keep your feet lifted. Feet flexed, arms reaching out to either side, pulling that belly in, keeping your chest nice and lifted. Pulling that belly in. And release yourself down onto your mat. Arms reach up overhead, full body stretch. Pointing your fingers, pointing your toes. Like any day now, you're going to touch both ends of the room. Bringing your hands over to the right corner of the mat. Bring your legs to the right corner of the mat, getting a nice big... Yes, banana asana. Keeping your shoulders down on the mat. Okay, if it's not that deep of a stretch, but try to keep your hips and shoulders square. Walking your hands back through center. Coming into banana asana on the other side. Hands and feet to the left, opening through your right side. Starting to bring your attention to your breath, breathing into that opening in the right side. Feel it fill up on your inhale. And feel your body relax on the exhale. Letting your out breath release tension. Bringing your hands and feet back to center. Pull your knees into your chest. Plant your feet just below the seat. On your next inhale, lift your hips to the sky, bridge pose. Keeping your glutes relaxed. Maybe walking both hands so they interlace underneath your lower back, bringing them underneath you. It's going to get some more opening in the shoulders. And gently lower back down to the mat. Rocking your knees side to side, massaging out the lower vertebrae of the spine. Bringing your knees back to center. On an inhale, lift your hips. Bridge pose. Lifting your left foot off the mat, bringing it to a figure four. Your left ankle coming over your right thigh. And start playing with some hip dips. Just letting your hips lower a couple inches and lifting them up. Moving back and forth. Nice and subtle movements. Keep it super small here. And press your hips nice and high as they can go. And slowly lower yourself back down to the mat. Both feet come down. Letting your knees rock from side to side. Coming back to center. Setting up for round three. On an inhale, press your hips to the sky. Right ankle lifts up, comes to your left thigh. Figure four on the opposite side. You're pressing your right knee towards the mat, getting a nice opening in your right hip. Moving up and down on those hip dips, just a couple inches up and down. Very subtle movement. Lifting your hips nice and high. And gently lower yourself back down to the earth. Both feet come down, rocking knees side to side. Bringing hips together, knees wide. Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly. Bringing one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Settling into your breath. Lengthening your inhales. Lengthening your exhales. Feeling the movement that just your breath creates in your chest, in your belly, in your collarbone, in your head. Notice how even in stillness, you're breathing in and out, your heart is beating, your nerves are working, you're feeling sensations in your body, your blood is flowing throughout the body. There's so much that we are always doing, even when we're still. Bring your hands to the outside of your knees, gently closing them together. Pulling your knees into your chest. Tucking your chin, beginning to rock and roll along the length of your spine. Coming all the way up to your feet. Keeping your knees bent, seat down. Start to reach your hands out to the front of the mat. Oh, wow, you guys are doing a great job demoing right now because I can't be seen at all. So it's all you, a great job. Tucking that chin, keeping those fingers reaching forward. And slow and controlled, one vertebrae at a time, begin to rise all the way up to standing Tadasana, mountain pose. Standing tall, keeping those shoulders down and back. Palms facing forward, rooted down through all four corners of the feet. Inhale, arms to reach up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Let yourself fall down to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen your spine, hands to your shins. Keeping your shoulders down and back. Release to the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Last one, halfway lift, find the length on the inhale. Playing your hands, step it back to a high plank. Shoulders over your wrists, heels pressing high, thighs squeezing together. Make this a full body pose. One straight line from your heels through the crown of your head. We'll lower slowly to the mat on a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, baby cobra, shoulders pull up and back. And release them. Inhale, baby cobra. Maybe hands hover off of the mat here. And release down. We'll press back up to a high plank just as slowly as we got in on a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hips high, downward facing dog. First downward facing dog of class, pedal out your feet. Let your head rock side to side. Finding some movement, letting out the kinks. Eventually settling yourself into stillness. Finding a place that feels like home base, where you can root down and breathe. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, walk your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands plant. Stepping back to a high plank. Shift yourself forward, come down just 2 to 3 inches, chaturanga. Keeping your elbows tucked into your rib cage. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tops of feet press into the mat, chest drives forward. Curl your toes under, send your hips high, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, feet to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, forward fold right away. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back, high plank. To chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Moving with your breath. It doesn't have to be right on my cue. Inhale, look forward. Exhale to the top. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Playing your hands, high plank to chaturanga on your exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, feet to the top. Half lift. Forward fold. Root to rise. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands plant, high plank to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take one more full sun salutation with your breath. Don't be cueing, just move how you feel. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, feet to the top. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Squeezing thighs together, bringing toes together, keeping weight back in your heels. Sinking a couple inches deeper. Starting to feel that heat building in your legs, staying nice and strong here. Inhale. Exhale, release, forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands plant, make your way back to downward facing dog. Knowing you can always take a chaturanga variation. You can use the cobra option we did at the start of class. You can step right back to downward facing dog. Choose a flow that works for you. If you need to pick it up, pick it up. If you need to slow it down, slow it down. Right leg lifts high to the sky. Right foot plants between your hands. Rise up, warrior one. Back heel spinning down at about a 60-degree angle. Toes pointed towards the side of the room. Bending into that front knee, stacking your right knee over your right ankle. Working to square your hips to the front of the room while keeping your back heel down. Inhale. Exhale, frame your foot, step it back, and make your way to downward facing dog. Left leg lifts high to the sky. Foot plants between your hands. Rise up, warrior one. We're going to press your right hip forward. Bring that left hip a little back. Giving a deep bend in your front leg. Inhale. Exhale, frame your foot, step it back, make your way to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot between your hands. Inhale, warrior one, rise up right away. Exhale, come right back down, step it back. High plank to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Exhale, foot to the top. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, right back down. Step it back, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Foot plants between your hands. Inhale up. Exhale down. High plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, hips back. Left leg lifts. Exhale, foot between hands. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, back down. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a big breath in, fill up. Open your mouth, let it go. One more just like that. Breathe in, fill up. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, feet to the top. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Root to rise. Utkatasana, chair pose. Keeping that seat nice and low. Reaching your arms back behind you, palms facing down. Beginning to bring the weight forward into the balls of the feet, popping your heels up off the mat. Staying low in your chair, maybe beginning to fold forward, coming fully into drinking break. Feeling that shake, keeping those heels nice and high. Inhale. Exhale, release, forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, step it back, make your way to downward facing dog. Right leg lifts high to the sky. Foot plants between your hands. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Heel to heel alignment here. Straight spine. That crown of the head reaching to the ceiling. You're pulling equally through both your front and back hands. Sending your gaze, your energy, your focus forward. Straightening through your right foot. Turning toes to face the left side of your mat. Heels come in. Sinking into a horse pose. Shoulders stacked over hips. Bending into those knees. And starting to turn to face the back of your mat, coming into a crescent warrior. Left knee stacked over your left ankle. Right heel pressing to the sky this time, trying to straighten through your back leg. Finding those airplane wings once again. Starting to ground in through your left foot. Begin to press yourself up into an airplane pose. Straightening your left foot, lifting your right leg off the mat. Not worrying about how high it goes right now. Maybe it just comes a couple inches. Breathe in, fill up. Exhale, forward fold. Let everything go. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands plant, step it back, make your way to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Left foot plants between your hands on the exhale. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Shoulders stacked, hips stacked, keeping the depth in your left leg. 90-degree bend in that front leg. Beginning to straighten your left leg, turning your toes towards the right side of the mat. Sink into a horse pose. Maybe for a little more, you can start to play with popping your heels off the mat here. Staying nice and low, feeling those legs shake. And begin to turn towards the front of the mat, crescent warrior. Finding length in your back leg, sending energy up through your back heel, into your fingers, into that front leg, and stacked over your right heel. Finding those airplane wings, starting to bring your upper body forward. Slow and controlled lift off, airplane pose. Find your drishti, a non-moving focal point here. Keep that chest lifted, your shoulders back, seeing a bit of an arch here, a bit of a back bend here. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Playing your hands, step it back, make your way to downward facing dog. Then bring your knees down wide on the mat, coming into a child's pose. Forehead to the mat. Maybe rocking your forehead side to side. Massaging out that third eye center. On your next inhale, rising up to a tabletop. Curling your toes under, sending hips high, downward facing dog. Left leg will lift high to the sky. Left foot plants between your hands. Rise up, warrior two, right away. Beginning to straighten into your left leg. Making our way into triangle pose. Maybe you heel toe your back foot in a couple inches. Then reaching your left fingers forward, pulling your hips back. Once you found your edge, tick-tock, send your right fingers to the sky. Stacking shoulders, keeping your obliques engaged. We want to avoid dumping into that left leg. Find length out through the crown of your head and length in your left. Rising back up to warrior two arms. Turn your toes to face the right side of the mat. This time legs stay straight, arms stay out wide. Inhale, open your chest, lift your gaze. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Bringing your hands to the mat. We're going to keep your legs straight. Working to keep the weight in the balls of your feet. That's going to help get a deeper stretch in the backs of your legs. Feel free to find some movement here, maybe bending into one knee, and then bending into the other. Maybe bringing one hand to the center of the mat and lifting your other fingers to the sky, finding a twist. Making sure if you twist, you find that twist on the other side. Making your way back to center. Bring your hands to your hips, lift up halfway. Keeping a flat spine, rise all the way up to standing. Turning towards the back of your mat. Make your way into a crescent warrior. On your right leg this time. Our longest pose in yoga, pressing hard through your left heel, pressing high out through those fingertips. Grounding into your right leg. You're going to make your way to a giant stair step, left knee coming up to your chest. Bring your right hand to the outside of your left knee. And begin to twist open to the left. Sending your left fingers towards what's now the front of your mat. Opening your shoulders towards your lifted leg. For a little more, maybe you play with peace gripping your left big toe with your right fingers and extending your left leg. Beginning to unwind your twist, coming back to center. And the left foot comes down to meet the right. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, release, forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands plant, high plank to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right leg lifts high to the sky. Foot plants between your hands. Rise up, warrior two right away. Here for just a beat. Make it your best warrior two yet. Sink into that front leg. Stare out over that right middle finger. And straightening your right leg. Transitioning into triangle pose. Maybe bringing that back heel in. Reaching forward, pulling your hips to the back. And when you found your edge, tick-tock. Open the shoulders. Sending your gaze up towards your left fingers, maybe down to the floor. Let's pick one or the other here. Keeping that left shoulder open. Keeping your breath steady. On your next inhale, rise back up to center. Toes pointing towards the left side of your mat. Hands will come to interlace behind you. Pulling your shoulders back, pulling your hands down towards the floor. Inhale, gaze lifts, heart lifts. Exhale, forward fold. Releasing your grip, bringing your hands down to the mat. Start to heel toe your feet in towards one another, making your way into a yogi squat, malasana. Heels planted down, toes out. Bringing your hands to the earth. If you'd like, you can play with an arm balance here, crow pose. Bringing your feet in so your knees can come up onto your triceps. Sending your gaze 6 to 8 inches in front of you. Pull your belly up towards the ceiling. Start to send your weight forward onto your triceps. Maybe heels come off the ground. Maybe someday toes come off the ground. So from back here, in the range of everybody. When you're all done with your crow pose, start to walk your legs back out. Returning to that wide-legged forward fold. Hands come to your hips. Inhale, halfway lift. And slowly rise up to standing. Turning towards the front of your mat. Crescent warrior in your left leg. Last warrior pose of this class, making your best one yet. Finding length, finding strength. Grounding into your left foot. Start to press up to a stair step. Left hand comes to the outside of your right leg. Twisting open to the right. Maybe playing with extending your right leg. Beginning to unwind your twist. And bring your right foot back to the mat. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands plant, step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts high to the sky. Left knee comes up to left wrist, setting up for half pigeon. So bringing your shin parallel to the top of the mat. Start to allow your upper body to fold over your left leg. Bring your head to your forearms or to the earth, somewhere where it can relax. Each exhale, allowing yourself to release a little deeper into your pose. Letting some tension go. Maybe that tension's in your jaw or in your gaze. Beginning to walk your hands back towards your left leg. Make your way out of this half pigeon, coming into three-legged dog, sending your left leg long behind you. Finding some movement in your left leg, shaking it out, bending the knee and opening the hip. Eventually, when you feel ready, making your way back to downward facing dog. Right leg lifts high to the sky. Right knee to right wrist. Half pigeon on the second side. Taking your time to set it up. Squaring your hips. Lowering down to the earth. Finding a pose that isn't painful, isn't too stressful. It keeps you present. Keeps you in your body and with your breath. Beginning to walk your hands back in towards your right leg. Curl your toes under, send your right leg back, three-legged dog. Finding some movement in your right side. Eventually meeting back in downward facing dog. Walking your feet to the top of the mat. Coming into a seat, legs long out in front of you. Sitting nice and tall. Reach your hands up, peace fingers lifted. Exhale, forward folds. Grabbing your big toe with your fingers. Just releasing into this stretch. It's okay to have a light bend in the knees or to have a little curl in your spine. Beginning to rise back up to center. Bend your knees, pull them into your chest, keeping your heels down on the mat. Wrap your arms around your legs, curling up into a ball. Bending your forehead in, sinking in, and then maybe start to play with sending the weight back, lifting your feet off of the mat. Seeing if you can find that place where you can balance. Cosmic ball. Keeping everything tucked in. Bringing your feet back to the earth. Sending them long. And slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lower yourself down to the mat. Pulling your left knee into your chest. Give it a big squeeze. And then guide your knee across your body, coming into a supine twist. Bringing your knee back into your chest. Give it a squeeze. And then let it go long to meet the right. taking a quick moment to notice the difference between your two legs. Right here. Right knee comes into your chest. Give it a big squeeze. And gently guide it across your body. Supine twist. Bringing your knee back to center. Giving your knee a big squeeze. Sending your right leg long, reaching your arms up overhead. One last full body stretch. Then bend both knees into your chest. Curl yourself up into a tiny little ball, lifting your forehead up off the mat. Everything squeezed in for one last inhale. Exhale, release. Savasana, your final resting pose. Letting everything melt away. beginning to draw your attention back into the room. Start to find some small movements in your body, in your fingers and toes, rolling out your ankles and wrists. Allowing your head to rock from side to side. Maybe rolling over onto either your right or left side. Right side for more grounding. Left side for more energy to the rest of your week. Eventually making your way into a comfortable seat. Gaze soft or eyes closed. Hands at heart center if you like. We'll end practice with 2 big breaths together. So breathe in, fill up. Open your mouth, let it go. Last one, breathe in. Breathe out. Thank you all for coming. Until next time, the light and love in me sees and honors light and love in each and every one of you. Namaste.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.